Oh boy, a whole video of me exposing my past self. This is gonna be interesting. Oh yeah, and by the way, please get a notebook out or a notepad or your notes app on your phone because we're going over a lot in this video and it's worth writing down. I doubt you're gonna remember all these things if you just try to consume this without writing it down. First thing I would tell my 18-year-old self is to get a regular sleep schedule going. Back when I was 18, a lot of my nights consisted of staying up all night partying or gaming until like 2 a.m. And then when I stayed up till 2 a.m. and took the bus back from college parties, I would go to the only places that were open around, and that was the fast food places. So one bad decision led to the next. I'm not saying you shouldn't enjoy yourself every once in a while by staying out late and going to parties and socializing and stuff, but making an effort to have an actual sleep schedule where you wake up and you go to bed at the exact same time every day, this is something that I do now, and above all of the things that I've really applied in my life in terms of like self-improvement, this is one of the things that has changed my life the most. Number 2, no one actually cares. By this I mean, old Cole, all you do is overanalyze and overthink things you're doing in social situations when in reality, no one is thinking about all of those things you are thinking about, and all they're thinking about is themselves and how they are acting. The more you're thinking about not being socially awkward in social situations, the more likely you're gonna be socially awkward. When I just let go of caring about all of that stuff and that I realized that the only person that really cares about these things and is thinking about these things is me, then I kind of just let conversations flow, and if there were awkward silences or I fucked up and I just made a fool out of myself in conversation or in public, I would just laugh it off. Nothing wrong with awkward silences, honestly, and that's something I used to try to avoid all the time when I was 18. It made me feel so anxious and weird. Like, you're talking to human beings. It's really not that big of a deal. You're 18 years old, and honestly, any of the mistakes that you make socially during this time is not going to be a big deal in the future in the slightest, as much as you think it is. Third thing I would tell myself is to never be entitled, ever. I swear, man, as a teenager, I thought I deserved a little bit of everything. I thought I deserved a certain amount of food, a certain amount of friends, certain amount of money, and that entitlement is going to get you nowhere in life. When you understand that you aren't shit and that you don't actually deserve anything, then you'll consistently put in the effort that you need to achieve your goals. Life doesn't just magically give you what you want, and it can all easily be taken away from you in the next day. And you got to ask yourself, what would happen to me? How would I feel if everything that I had worked for was taken from me the next day? And if that would make you want to completely lose your mind and you think you would never come back from that, then it's likely that you're too entitled. And it's up to nobody but you to get what you want out of life. 18-year-old Cole, I wish that you would have stopped watching dirty websites. Or do I? Because a lot of good anecdotes about how I couldn't get hard as a teenager were the videos that really blew up on this channel. But seriously, yeah, I really wish I would have stopped watching dirty websites and never started, to be honest. It was just so normal in my friend group, and I'm sure it is with your friends, even if you're not a teenager, because people do not understand how much this fucks up your mental health and your perception of women and just everything. The amount of dopamine that you get from watching dirty websites completely clouds everything else that could possibly give you dopamine, and you're less likely to do things that are boring to you and that will lead to greater happiness farther down the line in your life. Like I said, your perception of women is going to be all messed up, and you're going to think they look this certain way. Your arousal is going to be messed up. Like I've talked about in previous videos, when I was watching dirty websites a lot, I would not get aroused even for attractive women, because by watching this every single day, you're telling your brain that you are satisfied with your sexual needs. You've already had sex a bunch of times today. Your brain can't distinguish the difference between dirty websites and actual sex. And of course, like I said, it was a big reason why I had ED as a teenager. 18-year-old Cole, you're not gonna want to hear this one. Stop smoking green every day. So 2015, when I was 18, was when I was going into college. I had just graduated high school, and every single day I was hitting the ganj. It was my best way to escape my problems in life and, you know, keep me from really achieving things that I wanted to achieve and be actually productive. I'm gonna make a whole video on this because it's been almost 1 year since I smoked any sort of green, but I know that a lot of people can be productive and like work just as hard when they do this, but for me, no. I got tired and I wouldn't do it at the end of my days as like a reward for doing my work. I would like consistently do it throughout the day and I would wonder why I wasn't really achieving much or doing much with my life. Like, it really makes me tired and not want to do anything. And if I would have actually stopped myself, even though I was so addicted during that time, I would have just been much more happy and fulfilled and energetic in everything in life. Less socially awkward too. Sixth thing I would tell my 18-year-old self, I wish I really did this back then, is understanding the power of manifestation and just like believing in yourself. I didn't really start affirming my dreams or goals in life until I hit around sophomore year of college, and if I would have started earlier, I know those things would have came to fruition much earlier in my life. And I've made videos about the law of attraction, and while it can't really help with some things in your life, you know, obviously it's not going to bring everything that you affirm and believe into your life, but I do believe that a huge part of the reason that I gained the amount of subscribers or the amount of money or whatever that I have in my life right now is because I tell myself every single day, I am the healthiest I've ever been. I am the wealthiest I've ever been. I am a 100,000 subscriber YouTuber. I affirmed these before I had them, and I believed that I already had them before I had them, and I acted as if I already had them. And so I was on the same frequency of someone who already did have these things, and eventually as you push yourself towards that frequency, you'll start to see things in your life that are going to push you towards what you keep affirming. Like, teenagers just don't understand that. People in general don't understand this. You can literally achieve pretty much almost anything in your life if you just actually believe that you can do it and that you know you will do it. These past years, ever since I started YouTube, I never once doubted that I would be a successful YouTuber. I knew it would happen one day, and I put in the work to get there, and eventually it did happen. And literally you can do that with anything. You do not understand how powerful you are and how powerful your words and your writing are. If you like write down affirmations, all of these things will bring whatever you want into your life. But you do have to pair that with the seventh thing that I would tell myself, and that is to be more patient with everything, man. Like 18-year-old Cole, you wanted things right away. You were so focused on instant gratification, and you never wanted to do things that you know would be like planting seeds that would take a long time for them to sprout and grow. I get so many messages on the daily of like, hey man, I've been making YouTube videos for like 6 months. Why hasn't my channel popped off yet? Hey man, I have 10 videos, 30 videos on YouTube. Why hasn't my channel made any sort of traction? Let me show you guys what my channel looked like for literally 3 entire years. I was uploading, getting what, like a couple hundred views a month, a week? Absolute penny scraps. But I used the power of the law of attraction, believing in myself, being patient, and just putting in the work every single day, and eventually it just happens. One day it just clicks, it pops off, and your channel starts to explode. But people don't want to be patient because we get everything so efficiently, so easily these days. No one wants to put in the years of hard work that it takes to build anything even remotely successful in life. You think the success is gonna come in 1 year? You think it's gonna come in a few months? No, you gotta put in at least, I would say, 3 years before you see any sort of traction on something you're trying to build. And if you don't after 3 or 4 years, then maybe it's time to switch up what you're doing or improve at it if you haven't improved at it, or switch to a different thing. Results worthwhile take a very long time. Understand that. Be patient. It will happen. It will come to you if you're willing to be patient no matter how long it takes. 18-year-old self, nothing is permanent and you are going to die. Constantly keep that in mind. If I had this nihilistic, this optimistic nihilistic mindset and understood that I'm gonna die one day, it would push me to do really whatever the fuck I wanted, and would understand that my time here on Earth is limited and that I want to create cool shit and live the life I want and be able to travel anywhere and be happy when I want to be happy and just live life on my own terms. If I had understood that nothing in this world is permanent, everything is in a constant state of flux, everything is always changing, so having regrets about the past or just worrying about the future, like it doesn't matter in the end. Like nothing is gonna matter 20 million years from now when we're all dead. It's not gonna be permanent. So don't act like your life is permanent, and understand and constantly remind yourself that you are going to die one day. So do the most of what you can in this one life that we have. 18-year-old Cole, you really needed this one. You needed to understand this one. Life does not get easier. Life is hard. Life is painful. But that's what makes life worth living. Like I said, I wouldn't change anything, any mistakes, any failures, any rejections, any sadness in my past. I'm grateful for all that because the pain and suffering is what has made life worth it. Imagine if you just were comfortable your whole life and everything came to you easy. Life would not be worth living at all. And a lot of us are under this illusion that once we get to some certain point in our lives or a certain age or a certain amount of success, that it's finally going to be easier. Maybe your financial problems will be easier, but life is always going to throw you painful shit. That never stops. You just learn how to handle that stuff better. At least you can if you learn to accept that, yes, life is not easy. And it's not easy for anyone, no matter what you see on social media about people living awesome lives. They're not showing you the negative parts of their lives because that doesn't sell on social media. At least usually it doesn't, and no one wants to really admit that. Number 10, how about you start investing right now that you're 18, Cole? I wish I would have started my Robinhood account where I'm now investing on. When I was 18, I would have had much more gains than I do now. I only started taking it seriously about a year ago when I was 23. If I would have had a 5-year head start, I can't even imagine how much money I would have. If you can set aside 10% of all the income you make and just put it in like ETFs, these index funds, these Vanguard index funds, or just invest a little bit into big company tech stocks, you'd be a lot more set than you are now. You probably could have paid off your student loans by now. 18-year-old self, you gotta understand that reality is an illusion and life is kind of a game that you play. This was before I had ever taken any psychedelics and really understood that reality is an illusion that our minds create based on the organism that we are. And I think that realization that I realized through psychedelics and through other practices like meditation, if I would have understood that, then I would have not stressed so much about the things that were happening in my life, the very superficial things like how much money I had, how many friends I had, how much I was getting laid, which I'm gonna get into. Like life really is this video game that you play that everybody starts off in a different place, but where you end depends on how you play the game. And since it is a game, games aren't meant to be taken seriously. So don't take life too seriously. It's really not a big deal because like I said before, nothing's permanent anyway, and reality is really just an illusion. And like I said, number 12, getting laid isn't everything, 18-year-old Cole. When I was in college, I was so fixated on what people thought of me and just if I had not gotten laid or not, if I was sleeping with a girl every weekend, which I really was terrible at because I had bad social anxiety back then. I just wasn't good with women, and I also couldn't get hard really back then, like I've told you guys, at least for a little while. But yeah, I was just so fixated on that. I thought it was the end of the world if I had nothing at the end of the night or the next morning to tell my friends when they asked the question, so did you get with any girls last night? I promise you, this does not matter in your life. And in fact, it's gonna save you a lot of trouble of sleeping with girls that you really don't want to sleep with just for validation. As much as your friends are telling you that it's cool or they'll like respect you more, that is not how you should want to get respect from people. And if you're a virgin, being a virgin is totally fine. I totally understand. And you're not in any rush to have sex with somebody. Fitting in is pretty useless. In fact, I would encourage you to not fit in, to do something different, to do something outside of the norm. And yes, you're gonna get judged for that, obviously, because anyone who decides to go on their own pursuit of happiness and fulfillment in life other than just going to school, getting a 9-to-5 job, getting married, retiring and dying is going to get judged for it. But fitting in makes you average. Do you really want to be average? Don't try to fit in, just be who you are, be unique, and that's how you stand out, and that's how you're going to become more successful, more happy than your peers. 18-year-old Cole, please trust the universe's guidance. No matter what is happening in your life right now, no matter if it's amazing, trust that the universe is going to give you more amazing things in your life. Have trust, have faith in what is going to happen in the future. If a lot of terrible things are happening to you, a lot of misfortunes, a lot of sadness, a lot of depression that you've been through, trust that the universe is doing this to show you something and to help you level up as a person. These things are going to happen because we know life doesn't get easier, and it makes the flavor of life so much more flavorful. So every time now that something, whether good or bad, happens to me, I understand that yes, this was meant for me. Whatever happens to me is meant to show me something and push me down the correct path for me to be fulfilled and happy and to be abundant in the future. I trust that the universe is going to do that for me. Because I trust the universe, it gives me more things in my life that will align with what I want in life. And that's kind of also like the law of attraction and manifestation. Ask more questions and question everything. 18-year-old Cole, you think you know everything. You don't know shit. You need to question everything that you've been taught, everything that society has programmed you to believe is true. Start questioning that stuff, because most of what you've been told throughout your life is a complete lie. You've never even stopped to question your purpose here in life, why humans are here. Are we meant to just work a 9-to-5 and go die and work for the government and do all of this? Because most people are just follow the status quo and never question why we even do this in the first place. Question everything. Question what people are telling you on the news, what people are telling you on social media. It deserves to be questioned. Even this video. Do your own testing. Put in your own work and apply the stuff that you are questioning, and then see if it actually works for you, or if it's actually right or makes you happy. Because what makes someone happy and fulfilled and successful might not make you happy, fulfilled, and successful. And just asking more questions allows you to stay curious. So maybe I should have just named this Stay Curious. 18-year-old self, can you please realize what your parents have done for you? I know this is much harder for you people who have lived with your parents, because I know when I lived with my parents, we didn't have nearly as good of a relationship as we do now that I've moved out. But for a lot of people, if your parents are still together, you gotta understand they have gone through so much because of you. They have done so much for you. They have fed you, put clothing on you. They've put a house over your head. Wait, a roof over your head. They put a roof over your head. Literally all they want to do is give you unconditional love, and that's what they've done for the past 18 years of your life. Start hugging them more. Start saying thank you more. Start loving them more. They deserve that shit. 18-year-old Cole, just show up. Be consistent. Not every day is going to be perfect towards working whatever you're trying to work towards, but if you just put in a little bit of effort every day and improve 1% each day, that is going to be a crazy increase in improvement over the course of like even a few months. So many of us think we have to be in the perfect condition or perfectly recovered or perfectly energetic or happy to get into something or to start something. Just show up, just do that thing, just even go through the motions if you have to, and that consistency is going to build up into something absolutely incredible over time. And Cole, I really wish you would have documented as much as you possibly could when you were 18. I mean, I did take a lot of pictures and videos back then, but I didn't save them, and I wish I was able to look back on the memories when I was 18 years old, at least more of them, because I would have had more stories to tell. I would have understood my path and my growth more. I think that people underestimate the value of documenting your life to keep track of your progress, and also just to understand the type of person that you once were and the person that you're becoming. It doesn't necessarily have to be pictures or videos, but just writing in a journal every single day will lead to the greatest amount of self-awareness. And I feel like I would have figured out a lot more things in my life quicker if I just documented things. So try doing some sort of like video journal or photos or writing every single day. It'll be really important down the line and just a way to become aware of yourself, your thoughts, and what you want in life. Big thank you to all the patrons on this channel on Patreon. This is a platform where I'm putting out exclusive videos, podcasts, and blog posts that you can't find anywhere else. If you want to check out that platform, go to patreon.com/ColeHastings. Link is in the description. I put a whole lot of exclusive content out there, and that is it for this video, guys. I hope I offered a lot of value and insight into, you know, my teenage life and how people should go about their lives. Maybe this will help you, maybe it won't. Question everything, right? I really do appreciate you watching this whole video. You know, it helps out my channel tremendously when you guys do that. And taking the time out of your day to watch this video means a lot to me. So I'll see you guys in the next video. So have a good rest of your day or night.